Let's have a look at some unprepared orals and go over some writing pieces for term tasks and also for exam, your creative writing exam. So let's start with reading. This counts for both prepared and unprepared reading. When you're doing a reading piece, you have to read slowly. Break at the commas and at the full stops. So a comma is not just, don't just brush over your punctuation. Use the punctuation to tell you where to stop. If you feel like you're struggling to pause, or how long should you pause, or something like that, what you can do is read a sentence or read the parts of the sentence and then close your mouth, swallow, take a breath, and then continue. Or you can count to 3 or something like that, just some way to make yourself aware of where you're supposed to stop. Okay, then we're looking at inflection. Inflection is if you move your voice up or down. So many people tend to, at the end of the sentence, move their voice down. Let me give you an example. Use upward inflection with question marks. So I swallowed my last words and I put a downward inflection. But what you need to do is use your inflection to show punctuation. So if I have a question, you go an upwards inflection. So for example, what is the time? I went up. So compare these two. What is the time? What is the time? I don't think I did that right, but you can see the difference in using inflection and also emphasis to get your point across. So emphasis is the other one. Let me add it in here. So you want to emphasize some words, because remember, the person who's listening to you, they're not seeing the text in front of you. So you need to emphasize things for them to better understand what you're reading. So for emphasis, you can read something louder or pause beforehand. So if you pause before a word, or you read the word louder, then you put emphasis on it. Let me say this sentence again in a couple of different ways. Okay, so first I'm going to use louder. Use upward inflection with question marks. Or I can pause. Use upward inflection with question marks. All right? So there was no comma there, but I paused because I want the first thing I said to sink in before I say the next thing. All right, then fluency is important. So for your marks, you get marks for fluency and also for pronunciation. But I don't want you to compromise the one mark in favor of, I don't want you to compromise both marks. So if you're struggling to pronounce something, rather go for fluency. Then you're going to lose marks on pronunciation, but you're going to gain marks with fluency. So if you get to a word you don't know how to pronounce, just wing it. Say something or another that sounds kind of like it, as long as you stay fluent. So don't pause and go before a word that you don't understand or you don't know how to pronounce. Go for fluency. Read over it, make something up. As long as then you gain marks with the fluency part and lose marks with pronunciation. But if you pause and struggle every time you can't pronounce a word, then you're going to lose marks on both fluency and pronunciation. Okay, what I want you to do is, you can even replay this little bit that I just said about fluency. But listen to where I paused. So I said, but, pause, and then I continued. Because I want to say but, and then you must listen to me. I want your attention before I continue. Okay, I'm going to read this sentence to you so that you can see how I put in the inflection and the commas and emphasis. If you don't know how to pronounce a word, say it as you think and move on. You get marks for being fluent. Don't lose marks for fluency because you struggle with pronunciation. Okay, let me add something there to just add in a question as well. Why would you want to lose marks on fluency when you do not need to? Alright, so that gives you an example of how to read. Because remember, reading out loud is not the same as reading for yourself. Because you're not reading so that you can understand, you're reading so that someone else can understand. Alright, the next point is read clearly. So you have to pronounce your words clearly and slowly so that people can hear what you say. Also, don't read too softly. You must pronunciate your words and read loud enough for people to hear you. Alright, I've got a piece of reading here in front of me. I'm just going to read you a couple of sentences and tell you what I'm doing while I'm doing it. Nelson Mandela. So I took a break after Nelson Mandela because I want you to go, oh, this piece is about Nelson Mandela. And then I'm going to continue with my sentence. Here's a comma that's a parenthesis in the sentence. So I'm going to say that in a different tone, and I'm going to say that I'm going to say it differently so that you can hear, oh, this is a parenthesis. I really hope you remember what a parenthesis is. It's like a little insert that's not crucial to the sentence but gives you information about it. So listen to the sentence and see if you can hear the parentheses. Nelson Mandela was born in 1918 to the royal family of the Transkei, the eldest son of a Themba chief. Alright, and then I pause. So after I said that sentence, with my full stop, you stop talking, you count till 3, and then you continue. Or you can stop, swallow, breathe, and then continue. Okay, so the next sentence has a list. So there are also commas, and these commas have indicates a list. Okay, so here, if you can hear where the commas are. There, he studied an arts degree by correspondence, enrolled for a law degree in the University of Witwatersrand, and was later articled to a firm of white attorneys. Right, so that's just a couple of examples. I'm not going to read the whole thing. Let me just do the next sentence as well, because here's also a parenthesis. So here, if you can hear it. He became a close friend of Walter Sisulu's, then Secretary of the African National Congress, and was increasingly involved in the liberation struggle. So I hope you could actually hear the parentheses. So practice that kind of thing when you are reading. Before your unprepared reading, don't think, I don't need to practice, it's unprepared. Grab a book at home, any book, magazine, whatever, open it at a random spot and practice reading. Practice reading with feeling, with emphasis, inflection, all of those things, so that you can get used to reading unpreparedly. Alright, the next thing, let's look at listening comprehensions. Okay, so I said here, don't stress, people struggle. Everyone sucks with comprehension tests, it's not just you. So what you need to do, especially in your second language, so what you need to do is listen for keywords. So the first time they read the text, and you're not allowed to make notes, just listen to what it's about. After the first paragraph, think, what was this about? What was this about? And then in the second paragraph, okay, they said this, and just kind of form an idea of what the piece is about. They're going to read you the questions, so, or you're going to read the questions, depends. Then look for keywords. Who, what, where, why. Think about your questions. What does the question mean? And what do they want from you? Then when they're reading the piece again, listen for the keywords. Don't get so focused on one question that you miss everything else. Look for keywords. And then don't stress about writing full sentences. You don't get marks for language and you don't get marks for spelling. So that should not be important for you. Just focus on keywords. Right, and then an unprepared speech. So for unprepared speeches, same as with the reading, you can't practice the exact one that you're going to get. But you can practice thinking about random things and sort of planning a random topic so that you get practice in how to do it. So think about, give yourself a random topic, cats, okay? Then you have to plan something. So choose something. You normally get a couple of topics that you can choose from. So choose something that you can speak about, something that you know about or that means something to you. Then you need to do planning. So don't try to write a whole speech, because if you try to write an entire speech in the minutes that you've got for planning, people usually end up with half a speech. They talk for 1 minute, stop in the middle and go, yeah, that's all I got. And then you lose a lot of marks. So don't write an entire speech, just write key words. What are you going to talk about? Okay, so I'm quickly going to do some planning. I said the topic was cats. Okay, we need an introduction. You always need, even if it's unprepared, you still need an introduction and a conclusion. So, introduction, I'm going to speak about the feline family. So I'm going to say we're not just house cats, but lions, tigers, etc. Okay, let's add something personal in there and say, yeah, let's say my favorite is a Black Panther. Okay, so that's my introduction. Then I'm going to talk about house cats. Okay, let me think. Let's first say something about cats have 9 lives. Oops. 9 lives. So I'm going to say, why do they have 9 lives? And then I'm going to say, let's see, a little bit about them. So I can say they can jump high. I can say that they have lots of fur. Ooh, how do you spell fur? Okay, I'm going to say that you get different types. So we get, what's those huge cats called? Maine Coon. They are so beautiful. And we've got Persian cats. And we've got hairless cats. Just disgusting, I think. Yeah, and different people like different cats. Okay, then I'm going to talk about why people have cats. Let's say, why do people have cats over dogs? Okay, what else? Where do you get a cat? Okay, so we can get cats from breeders, or you can get one from a like animal shelter, or from a friend. And then I'm going to say something about my cat. My cat's name was Cardi. And then my conclusion is going to be, let's see, people, yeah, cats can make people happy. Okay, so that's all I'm going to do for my planning. Now, hopefully I still have time left and the teacher hasn't called me up yet. So when you've still got time left, quickly go through your keywords and string sentences together. So how am I going to start? Always start with good, with a greeting. Good day, ma'am, or good day, ma'am, and class. Teacher and class, whatever. Today I'm going to tell you about cats. Many people, when they hear the word cats, think about a house cat lying on your lap. But the cat family, also called the feline family, includes the big cats like lions and tigers, and panthers, which, by the way, is my absolute favorite cat. On each continent and each different climate, we get different types of cats. But most of us know and love house cats. It's always said that house cats have 9 lives. But why would that be? Cats are said to have 9 lives because they always land on their feet. When they jump, they can quickly turn around in the air to always land on their feet. This means that they can jump very high and from high heights and always land on their feet. Cats are also very nimble and can run away quickly and squeeze through tight spaces, which is also why they are said to have 9 lives. Most cats are very furry, and therefore you have to be aware that cats can shed if you have them as pets. Often you can tell who's got cats as pets because they're full of cat hair. Many people are also allergic to cat hair. There are many different types of house cats. We get Maine Coon cats. That's the biggest cat breed. Persian cats are beige with black ears. And then, of course, you get hairless cats, which would be a great idea if you don't want all your clothes to be full of cat hair. Okay, I'm not going to do the whole thing. We can stop there. But I hope you're getting an idea of what I'm doing. You can see even me, the teacher, I'm not fluent perfectly in doing this because I haven't planned it properly. Because it's impossible in 5 minutes to plan every single detail of what you're going to say. So what you need to do is you need to practice random speeches. Give yourself a topic and think about a list of things you can say. Talk to yourself, because it would help you to be quicker on your feet when you actually have to do an unprepared speech. Okay, now when we're speaking, so you've planned your thing, how are you going to speak? Just tell me your story. Relax. Talk like you speak as if you're speaking to your friend. If you're speaking to your friend, you're having a conversation with your friend at school, you don't prepare something to talk about. You just tell them something interesting. If you're going to tell your friend about what you did this weekend, you're not first going to write out a whole planning session. You're just going to tell them something interesting. And an unprepared speech, see it as a conversation with someone about something interesting. Yeah, so that's the oral part, mostly unprepared orals. Please go have a look at your school notes about the other types of orals that you're doing, but for this term, we're specifically looking at the unprepared ones. All right, in the next video, we'll have a look at the writing.